The strange girl at the border of the forest. Dane lived alone at the edge of the great alien forest. His cabin was old, made of wood and metal scraps. Outside, trees reached up like claws, their leaves glowing softly at night. No one dared to live so close to the forest. But Dane liked the silence. He had no family, no friends, just his books, his tools, and the stars. But tonight was not silent. He heard something strange, a soft sound, like crying. At first, he thought it was an animal. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside. The night air was cool, and the glowing trees moved gently in the wind. Then he saw her, a girl sitting near the border of the forest. Her skin shimmered like silver. Her hair floated slightly, as if underwater. She wore no shoes, and her dress looked like it was made of light itself. She looked up when he came closer. Her eyes were large, glowing blue. Dane stopped. "Who are you?" he asked, keeping a safe distance. The girl didn't answer. She looked scared. "Are you lost?" He tried again. Slowly, she stood up. Her voice was soft, almost like a whisper in the wind. "You are human." Dane blinked. "Yeah. And you're not." She didn't reply. Instead, she looked at him with deep, searching eyes. Then she said something that made him step back. "You can give me a soul." Dane laughed nervously. "Oh, what?" She took a step closer. The flashlight in Dane's hand flickered, then died. His cabin lights blinked once, then went out. Everything went dark, except for the soft glow of the forest and her. "Okay," Dane said slowly, "either you're some kind of alien, or I'm dreaming." The girl lowered her head. "I am called Lyra." He stared at her. "What are you doing here, Lyra?" She looked up again. "I escaped. I came to find you." "Me? Why me?" "Because," she said, "you are kind. And you are alone. You will listen." Dane wasn't sure what to say. This was insane. But then Lyra walked toward a small baby deer that had come out from the trees. She knelt beside it. The deer didn't run. It looked at her with calm eyes. She reached out and touched it. Her fingers trembled. "This has a soul," she whispered. "I can feel it. It shines." The deer ran off into the woods. She stood up and looked at Dane again. "I was born without one. My people, we do not feel. We do not cry. We do not love." "But you're crying," Dane said. "Yes," she whispered, "because I am changing." She walked past him and sat near the fire pit outside his cabin. Dane followed, still confused. "What do you mean, changing?" "I left my world. I broke the rules. I touched the forest. I touched life. And now, I feel." Dane looked at her closely. There was fear in her eyes, but also hope. "So what do you want from me?" he asked. Lyra looked down, then began to draw in the dirt with her finger. A strange symbol appeared, 3 circles and a line between them. "There is an old story among my people," she said. "It says if one of us joins with a human and gives birth to a child, the soul will pass into us." Dane's mouth fell open. "Wait, what?" "You are the one I chose," she said simply. He stood up quickly. Whoa, this is too much. I don't even know you." She looked up at him. "I don't want to hurt you. I just want to feel real, alive." Light shimmered softly around her, like heat rising from sand. Dane stepped back. His mind raced. Was she crazy, or was she something else? Something not human. Before he could speak, she added softly, "You don't have to say yes, but if I go back, they will erase me. They will end my change." Silence fell between them. Dane looked at her, sitting there with glowing eyes, silver skin, and a heart full of fear and hope. He didn't know what to believe, but one thing was clear. This girl was in danger, and she had come to him. The ancient law of her people. Dane didn't sleep that night. He sat inside his small cabin, watching the strange girl, Lyra, rest by the fireplace. She curled up like a child, her silver skin glowing softly in the dark. The wind outside carried whispers from the alien forest. It felt like the trees were listening. His heart beat faster than normal. Who was she really? Could she be trusted? Was she dangerous? He looked again at the symbol she had drawn in the dirt, 3 circles and 1 long line. It burned into his mind. He remembered her words. "You are the one I chose. A child with a soul can save me." It sounded crazy, but nothing about Lyra felt like a lie. At dawn, Lyra opened her eyes. They shimmered like the sky before a storm. She sat up and spoke in a calm voice. "Thank you for letting me stay." Dane nodded slowly. "I didn't really say yes. But you didn't say no." Dane made 2 cups of hot leaf tea and passed one to her. She smelled it before sipping. Then she looked out the window. "They will come soon." "Who?" Dane asked. "My people," she said. "They will try to take me back." "Why?" She placed the cup down and turned toward him. "Because I broke the ancient law." She stood and moved to the corner of the room where a thin sheet of light floated above the floor. She placed her hand in it, and suddenly an image appeared in the air. It showed her planet, dark skies, silver towers, and beings like her, tall, glowing, emotionless. "My kind live by rules written thousands of years ago," she said. "We believe feelings are weakness, love is sickness, and having a soul is a myth." Dane listened, eyes wide. But one story survived. Lyra continued. "A long time ago, one of us touched a human child. Something passed between them. She cried for the first time. She laughed. She felt the sun warm her skin. But the elders saw it and erased her." "Erased?" Dane asked, shocked. "Yes," Lyra said quietly. "They wiped her mind, her memories. They made her empty again." She looked at him with deep sadness. "I read her memory before it was destroyed. I saved it, and I ran." Dane walked closer, slowly. "So what happens now?" he asked. "You want a child. With me." Lyra nodded once, but not just a child born from a true bond. Not just mating. "The story says a soul only passes when the bond is real." "What kind of bond?" he asked. "Trust, care, protection, feelings." Dane looked away. His hands trembled. He was just a man, a simple man. He had never even thought about having a child. And now, this alien girl wanted to create life, to save her own. It was too much. But then, he saw something outside. A silver drone flew above the trees. Lyra saw it too. Her eyes widened. "They found me." Dane rushed to shut the curtains. "Can they track you?" "Yes, but they won't attack right away. They will wait. They want to scare me." Lyra reached into her dress and pulled out a small metal piece. It looked like a coin, but when she placed it on the floor, it opened into a small circle of floating runes. "This is a protection field. It will block their scans for a while." Dane crouched beside her. "How long?" "A day, maybe less." After setting up the shield, they both sat in silence. Lyra's hands shook. She looked tired. Dane noticed her breathing had changed. "Are you sick?" he asked. "No," she said. "Just feeling. For the first time, I feel fear." He handed her a blanket. She smiled slightly. "Thank you," she whispered. He stared at her. "Do you really believe having a child will give you a soul?" Lyra looked into his eyes. "I don't know, but I believe trying is better than dying empty." Dane didn't reply. Deep inside, he felt something strange. Not fear, not confusion, but connection. That evening, she showed him more about her world. Holograms filled the room. Cities with no laughter, no color. Schools where children sat like statues. homes that felt like prisons. "We live long," she said, "but it means nothing. We don't even dream." "What do your people want now?" Dane asked. "To bring me back and wipe me clean." She turned to him. "If I go, I lose this, all of this. The fear, the wonder, the kindness, even this moment with you." She touched her chest. "I am not empty anymore. But it is not enough. I need something more." She stood in front of him, not begging, not demanding, just hoping. "I will not force you," she said softly. "But if you walk away, they will come. And I will vanish, like I never existed." Dane looked at her for a long time. "I don't know what I believe," he said quietly, "but I don't want to lose you either." Lyra stepped closer. "Then stay with me. For now," he said, "until I understand all this." She smiled, truly smiled, and it made the room feel warmer. But outside the cabin, above the glowing forest, the silver drone was not alone anymore. 10 more hovered in the distance. The escape and the bonding trial. The sky above Dane's cabin turned dark, even though the sun had not yet set. Lyra stood near the window, her face pale, her glowing eyes watching the forest. "They are here," she whispered. Dane stepped beside her. "Can your shield protect us?" "Not anymore," she said. "They brought hunters. They walk, not fly. They use silence." "What do we do?" Dane asked, trying to stay calm. Lyra turned to him, her voice steady but urgent. "We run. Now." They packed quickly. Dane grabbed food, a water flask, and a knife. Lyra placed her glowing coin-like device into a small pouch, then reached for Dane's hand. He froze. "What are you doing?" "We must be close," she said. "Touch helps the bond. It keeps them from sensing me." Dane hesitated, then held her hand. It was warm now, warmer than before. Maybe because she was changing. Maybe because she was scared. Maybe because of him. They ran into the woods. The alien forest was alive. Trees hummed low sounds. Strange lights moved through the leaves. The ground was soft and warm, like it breathed beneath their feet. Dane had never gone this deep before. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To the trial ground," Lyra said. "A hidden place. My people once used it. Now it's forgotten." "Trial." "Yes," she said. "The bonding trial. We must complete it, or the child won't carry a soul." Dane looked at her. "So this is real. It's really happening." "Yes," Lyra said. "If we succeed, I will live. Truly live." After 2 hours of walking, they came to a clearing. It was beautiful. Glowing vines wrapped around stone pillars. Floating orbs of light hovered above the grass. A circle of strange flowers stood in the center, their petals opening as they approached. "This is it," she said softly. Dane stared. "What do we have to do?" Lyra knelt inside the circle. "We face ourselves." Before Dane could ask what that meant, the ground lit up. A bright flash surrounded them, and suddenly, everything changed. Dane opened his eyes and found himself back in his cabin. But something was wrong. Lyra wasn't there. Instead, he saw a version of himself standing across the room. This other Dane spoke first. "Why would you help her? She's not human. She's using you." Dane backed up. "What is this?" "A test," the other Dane said, "to see who you really are." Images appeared on the walls. His lonely life, the pain of losing his family, the years of silence, the fear of loving again. "You think she needs a soul," the other Dane hissed. "Maybe you're the one who's empty." Dane shook his head. "I'm not like you. You are me." "No," Dane said. "I'm more. Because I chose to care." The vision faded. Lyra, in her own vision, faced a different trial. She stood before a cold mirror that showed her true form, not the girl with soft eyes, but the empty creature she once was. Lifeless, silent, No warmth, no heart. You are not meant to feel. The mirror spoke. You are a mistake. Lyra placed her hand on her chest. Then I will be a beautiful mistake. The mirror cracked. The old version of her screamed and vanished. They both returned to the real world, inside the glowing circle. Lyra's eyes met Dane's. She looked stronger now, more human. Her voice no longer floated like a ghost. It carried weight. We passed, she said softly. Dane nodded. I saw something. My fears, my past, but also you. And I saw who I used to be, Lyra replied. But now, I know who I want to be. A warm light filled the air around them. The glowing flowers closed slowly, as if their job was done. The orbs above began to spin and rise into the sky. What now? Dane asked. Lyra touched her stomach. It has started. His eyes widened. Already. My kind grow fast, she said. But time is short. She pointed toward the sky. They will not stop. The trial ground hides us only for a moment. Then we must go further. Where? Lyra looked up. To the old caves, deep under the forest. No signal reaches there. No mind can be read. Can you make it? Dane asked. She smiled, though she looked tired. I am not alone anymore. Dane took her hand again. They walked together, away from the trial ground, deeper into the unknown. But as they left, a single drone hovered above the clearing, cloaked in shadow. A voice crackled through a hidden speaker. She completed the bond. Another voice responded. Prepare to erase them both. The council's warning and the coming storm. Dane and Lyra moved carefully through the thick forest. They were heading toward the old caves, hidden deep under the roots of the mountain. Lyra said it was a sacred place, where even her people could not reach with their machines or their thoughts. But something followed them. Dane could feel it. The wind had changed. The trees whispered louder, and even the glowing lights that danced in the leaves were now still. They are watching, Lyra said, her voice low. How do you know? Because I feel fear, she whispered, and it is not mine. By nightfall, they found the entrance. The cave was hidden behind a waterfall made of glowing blue water. Lyra touched the stone, and the wall opened slowly, revealing stairs that spiraled down into darkness. This place, she said softly, is older than my people, older than the forest. They entered. The air was cold, quiet, heavy. The path was lit by stones that glowed when they stepped near. They walked for what felt like hours, until they reached a wide room deep underground. The walls were smooth, carved long ago by hands not human. And not alien either. We can rest here, Lyra said. This place is safe. But Dane was not at peace. His dreams that night were strange. He stood inside a huge room of glass and silver. Tall figures floated in the air around him, their eyes shining like stars. The alien council. They spoke in one voice. You were chosen. I didn't choose anything, Dane said. You were kind. You listened. That was enough. One figure floated closer. Its face was hidden, but its voice felt familiar. The girl carries something new, something that does not belong. You mean the baby? Yes, the first child of human and voidborn. Voidborn? Dane asked. Her kind, made without soul, created by power, not by love. The council's light dimmed. This child may become a bridge or a weapon. If it is born in fear, the world will break. Dane's chest tightened. What do you want me to do? Protect her or destroy her? Your heart will decide. He woke up, sweating. Lyra sat beside him, eyes wide. You saw them too. Dane nodded slowly. The council. Yes, she whispered. They enter dreams. They speak when the path is unclear. They called you Voidborn, he said. She looked down. That is the name others gave us, because we were made without anything inside. But you're not empty now. No, she said softly. Because of you. Outside the cave, the storm began. Thick clouds rolled over the forest. Not natural clouds. These were made by alien ships. They moved in silence, darkening the sky above the mountain. Inside the cave, the walls began to pulse with light. Lyra stood up quickly. They found us. Even here. How? Someone told them, she said. Someone in the council. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the cave. Deep, cold, powerful. You have gone too far, child of emptiness. Lyra froze. Father. A glowing figure appeared in the air, a projection, but full of presence. His face looked like hers, but older, and his eyes were hollow. You broke the law, he said. You touched life. Now you will return and be cleansed. No, Lyra said firmly. I feel. I choose. You choose death. No, she said again. I choose soul. Dane stepped between them. Leave her alone. The figure turned its gaze to him. You are the problem. You gave her the idea that she is more than a tool. She is more, Dane said. She's brave. She's kind. She's real. Then protect her, the father said. Because we are coming. And when the storm falls, we will take back what is ours. The image vanished. Silence returned, but only for a moment. Then thunder shook the cave. Lyra fell to her knees. Dane rushed to her side. Are you hurt? No, she said. It's starting. What is? She took his hand and placed it on her stomach. It was warm, burning from within. The child is growing, she whispered. Too fast. What do? We run again. The caves are no longer safe. Where? To the sky, she said. We must reach the old ship in the mountains. Dane helped her stand. She looked weaker now. Her glow flickered. But her eyes were full of life. As they left the cave, the storm above broke. Ships covered the sky. Lightning split the air. The great storm of her people had begun. But deep in the clouds, someone else was watching. A human figure in black armor, unknown to Lyra, unknown to Dane. He spoke into a device. Target is with the girl. Orders. A voice replied. Do not kill the child. Not yet. The figure lowered his visor. Then let's see what a soul is really worth. War at the edge of the soul. Dane carried Lyra up the rocky mountain trail. The wind screamed around them. Dark ships floated above the clouds, blocking the sun. Lightning flashed in the sky. Not natural, but cold and controlled. Born from alien machines. Lyra leaned on his shoulder. Her steps were slow. Her glow was dim. But she whispered, keep going. The ship is near. Dane looked ahead. Between sharp stones and twisted trees, he saw it, a broken alien ship, hidden in the side of the mountain, overgrown with vines. It looked dead, forgotten, but Lyra said it could still fly. They had no choice. Inside the ship, everything was quiet. The walls were covered in moss. Lights flickered. Strange symbols glowed weakly across the panels. Dane helped Lyra sit down on a soft metal bench. You said this ship can fly, he asked. Yes, she said, breathing heavily. But we must wake it. She reached out and pressed her hand against a round crystal on the wall. The ship hummed like something waking from a long dream. This vessel was used by seekers, she explained. They were like me, looking for something more. Dane touched a glowing panel. It lit up with warm orange light. And where do we go now? Away, Lyra said. To the sky, above their reach. But it was too late. A loud sound echoed across the mountain. They were here. Silver shapes fell from the sky, silent, fast, deadly. Alien warriors in armor of liquid metal. They moved like shadows. Their eyes burned with light, but not warmth. They surrounded the ship. They found us. Dane said, heart pounding. Lyra stood slowly, holding her stomach. "They won't let me go," she said. "They don't understand. They think the child is dangerous." "Is it?" Dane asked. She looked at him, eyes full of pain and truth. "I don't know, but it's alive, and it feels." Outside, a voice spoke through a deep vibration. "Come out, Lyra of the Void. Your trial is over. Surrender the unborn." Dane stepped forward, fists clenched. "We can't give them the baby." Lyra nodded. "Then we fight." She moved to the center of the ship and placed both hands on a silver ring in the floor. "What are you doing?" Dane asked. "Calling the ship's core," she said. "It will protect us for a time." A pulse of light spread from the ring. The ship's dead engines hummed louder. Walls shifted. Panels moved into place. The old ship was waking up. But so were the hunters. They attacked. The ground shook. Beams of blue energy hit the outer walls. Parts of the mountain broke and fell. But the ship held strong. For now. Dane grabbed a small blaster from one of the open walls. It was cold and heavy, but he had no time to learn. He ran to the side door and opened a small hatch. Outside, he saw the hunters marching forward. They didn't speak. They didn't feel. They didn't stop. Dane fired a warning shot. One of them dodged it with ease. Another one raised his hand and sent a wave of force at the ship. The door snapped shut automatically, saving Dane from being thrown out. Inside, Lyra collapsed. "What's wrong?" Dane shouted, rushing to her. "It's starting," she whispered. "The child. It's reacting to the war." "Reacting how?" She looked at him with wide eyes. "It's afraid, and it's protecting me." A sudden shockwave burst from her body. The lights in the ship turned blue. The air shimmered. Outside, the hunters paused. Something invisible was growing inside her. Something powerful. Above the ship, another figure arrived. A human. He wore black armor, unlike the aliens. He floated down slowly and landed near the front of the ship. He didn't attack. Instead, he spoke into a device. "This is Agent K. I've reached the target." A voice replied, "Observe. Do not engage. The child must be studied." But Agent K had other plans. He turned toward the ship and whispered, "You're not just a child. You're something new. Something they all fear." He raised his hand. A golden ring on his finger glowed. Inside the ship, Lyra screamed. The baby's power surged again. Lights exploded. Metal cracked. The ship lifted slightly off the ground, and then crashed back down. Dane held her tightly. "You have to stay with me," he said. I feel the storm inside," she whispered. "But it's not just fear. There's hope, too. Hold on to that." The hunters made their final move. 10 of them rushed the ship, weapons glowing. The walls cracked. Shields began to fail. Dane stood at the entrance, ready to fight. But before they could break through, the baby cried. Not from the outside, but inside Lyra's body. A single, soft cry, and every alien froze. Outside, the hunters stopped. They looked at each other, confused, afraid. Even Agent K took a step back. "That sound," one of the aliens said. "It carries light." Another dropped his weapon. "Is this a soul?" Inside, Lyra looked at Dane, tears in her eyes. "Did you hear it?" Dane nodded. "I did." "Then it's real," she whispered. "It's alive, with feeling. The birth of light and pain." Inside the old alien ship, the lights flickered like candle flames in the wind. Outside, the world stood still. Alien hunters froze mid-step. Their weapons dropped to the dirt. Even the storm above paused, as if nature itself had heard the sound. The tiny cry from within Lyra's body. It wasn't just a noise. It was a message. A signal. A spark of life. Something her kind had never known. Dane held Lyra in his arms. Her skin glowed brighter now, almost too bright to look at. Sweat ran down her face, but her eyes stayed open. "What's happening?" he asked, voice shaking. "The child is ready," Lyra whispered. "But it is different." "How different?" "It's not just growing. It's becoming something new." A pulse of light rippled across her stomach. Then another, and another. The ship around them responded. Panels opened on their own. Air shifted. A soft humming filled the walls, like the ship itself was breathing with her. Outside, Agent narrowed his eyes. "Prepare the net," he said into his device. But the voice on the other end said something unexpected. "Wait, we're receiving the signal. It's coming from inside her." "Inside the baby?" "Yes. It's broadcasting emotion." Agent frowned. "Emotion? How?" "We don't know." Meanwhile, Dane did his best to calm Lyra. "Breathe," he said. "I'm right here." "I can't hold it back much longer," she said, gripping his hand tightly. "The pain is strong, but so is the light." He looked down. Her stomach began to shine from within, like a small sun trapped inside her body. Dane blinked back tears. "You're doing something impossible." Lyra smiled through the pain. "No, we are." Suddenly, the ship released a blast of energy. A force field of warmth, not violence. Outside, the hunters stumbled back. Agent raised his shield. "What is that?" he shouted. A nearby hunter, older than the rest, dropped to his knees. "That is a soul," he whispered. "No," Agent replied. "That's power. And we need to control it." Inside, Lyra screamed. The light became stronger. The air burned and healed at the same time. Dane held her close, whispering every gentle word he could. "You're not alone," he said. "You never were." She gasped. Her body trembled. And then, silence. A moment of perfect stillness. No wind, no sound, no pain, just light. Then, a cry. A real one this time. Not from inside Lyra, but from the small glowing form cradled in her arms. The child had arrived. It had tiny hands, soft silver skin, and bright blue eyes that blinked slowly as if seeing the world for the first time. It wasn't fully human, and not fully alien. It was both, or maybe something else. Something new. Dane stared, unable to speak. Lyra held the baby close, tears falling down her glowing cheeks. "He's here," she whispered, "and I can feel him." "Feel what?" "Everything. His warmth, his heart, his fear, his love." Her hands trembled. "Dane, I have a soul." The light inside the ship faded slowly. The storm above began to clear. The sky opened, but not everyone was ready to celebrate. Outside, Agent stepped forward. "They did it," he said. "They made it real." The voice in his ear replied, "Then bring it to us. The child, not the parents." Agent clenched his jaw. "Understood." He raised his hand, signaling his team. But the hunters didn't move. They stared at the ship, silent, confused. One of them turned to Agent and said, "We cannot touch them. The child changed us." Inside the ship, Dane heard a soft knock. He stood up, grabbing the blaster again. "Who's there?" Agent stepped into view. "I'm not here to harm you," he said. "I came to observe. And now I know." "Know what?" "Your child is not a weapon, not a danger. It's proof." "Proof of what?" Dane asked. "That souls are real. That your kind, humans, carry something powerful we never understood. And now, one of your kind, and one of theirs, have created life that can feel both." Lyra stepped forward, holding the child. "Then leave us." "I can't," Agent said. "Others will come. They'll want to take him, to study him, to break him." Dane narrowed his eyes. "You'll have to go through us." Agent paused, then removed his helmet. He looked tired, old. Human. I'll help you disappear, he said. Off-world. Hidden. Safe. I can't stop the storm, but I can give you time. Why would you help? Lyra asked. He looked at the baby, then at her. Because when I heard that cry, I felt something. Something I hadn't felt in years. Outside, the hunters faded into the forest. The ships left the sky. The storm passed. Inside, the child slept peacefully in his mother's arms. What comes after a soul is born? The baby slept in Lyra's arms, his soft breath rising and falling like a gentle wave. His glow had faded into a soft, warm light, something calm, something real. Outside the old alien ship, the wind had stopped. The clouds were gone. The forest was silent again. But nothing was the same. Agent K stood at the doorway, helmet under his arm. The man looked at the child one last time, then turned to leave. Dane stepped after him. Will they come again? Agent K paused. Yes, not now, but someday. Not for hate, but for answers. And when they come, Agent K looked back. Make sure the child still has something to teach them. With that, he walked into the trees and disappeared. Days passed. The family, because now that's what they were, stayed hidden in the mountain. The ship no longer shook. Its systems calmed. It had become something else, not just a machine, but a home. Lyra recovered slowly. Her body, once made only of light and code, now carried warmth. She laughed softly, cried softly, dreamed at night. And when she looked at her baby, their baby, her eyes filled with something she once thought impossible. Love. One morning, Dane woke up and found Lyra outside the ship. She stood under the rising sun, holding the child. The light touched her silver skin, and for the first time, she didn't glow. She just existed. You're not shining, Dane said, walking up beside her. No, she smiled, but I feel bright inside. He wrapped his arm around her shoulder. What are you thinking about? His future, she whispered. What kind of world he will grow in. One we build for him, Dane said. Quiet, kind, safe. She looked down at the baby, who now had strands of soft white hair and pale blue eyes that watched the birds in the sky. He's already listening, she said. They gave him a name. Solon. It meant light born in silence, a name from Lyra's old tongue, now mixed with a human word. He carries both of us, Lyra said. But he is not just human or alien. He is a bridge. Between what we were, Dane said, and what we can become. One night, Dane sat beside a small fire, watching the stars above. He felt a presence behind him. Lyra joined him, wrapping a soft cloth around her shoulders. Solon slept nearby, curled inside a basket made of glowing leaves. Do you think he really has a soul? Dane asked. Lyra didn't answer right away. She looked at the baby, then at Dane. Then she said, I know I do. And if mine was born through him, then yes, he does too. What does it feel like? Dane asked gently. Like color in the wind, she said. Like music without sound. Like knowing you matter. Later, as the moon rose high, Lyra walked back to the ship to rest. But Dane stayed outside. Because something was coming. Not danger, not fear, but something new. A faint shimmer in the air appeared above him. A soft light fell down. And then, like before, a vision formed. The Alien Council. But this time, they were different. Less cold, more curious. They spoke in one voice, but softer now. We have seen the child, and we have felt his cry. Dane stood tall. What do you want now? Nothing. We only came to understand. Do you? He asked. They were silent for a moment. We do not yet know what a soul is, they said. But we know we want one. They began to fade. But before they vanish, one of them looked directly at Dane. Thank you for believing in the impossible. Morning came. Lyra and Dane stood together on the edge of the cliff, watching the valley below. Solon sat in a basket, giggling at the colors of birds flying by. Lyra turned to Dane and asked, "Do you ever wonder if it was fate?" "Maybe," he said, "or maybe we just made the right choices. Do you regret it?" He looked at her, then at their child. Not for a second. In time, they would leave the mountain. They would travel to other skies, other lands, human and alien alike. Not to hide, but to share, to teach, to show what love could create. Some would fear them, some would follow. But wherever they went, the message was clear. A soul can be born from care. A heart can beat inside anyone. Even those who were never meant to feel can choose to feel. And sometimes, a single child can change the future of two worlds.